This weekend on the original Rochester Press Box.
My name is Pat Duffy from the Break Room on CMF. I'm going to tell you why, despite everything being awesome for the Buffalo Bills, there are still people complaining about things.
And I'm John DiTullio. I'll tell you why the Sabres/Amerks are holding all the cards.
And I'm Mike Catalana. College hoops and hockey are great, but the NBA is number 2 and moving up.
I'm Bill Pucko, Hope Solo, and the Double Standard. Join us this weekend on the original Rochester Press Box. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the original Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you, joined as always by John DiTullio, Fox 1280 Sports.
Billy, I'm getting emotional just being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me back.
All right, you're welcome. Co-host Mike Catalana, 13 WHAM News.
I'm glad he found the studio.
Well, you know what, though? This has been, what,
Like
3 or 4
weeks in a row?
Yeah, but look, I got some stuff coming up.
Oh, great. Okay.
I'm telling you, I got some
And
action.
Duffy from the Break Room is back. Thanks for joining us,
Hey,
man.
guy, I love seeing you guys. I missed you.
You look amazing for the record.
Hey,
So how much have you lost? You've lost some weight, so you know what we're talking about here.
A little bit.
How much?
Like 40 pounds.
That's pretty impressive.
Johnny he makes me blush. He's, he's
Look at him.
competitive.
Shredded. It looks like he should suit up for the Blackhawks.
Nicer than my wife.
Well, look, the women's soccer, national soccer team in competition for the World Cup, the Hope Solo thing. You know, the domestic violence, the awareness that we've had given to the NFL over the past year. How comfortable should we be rooting for Hope Solo these days?
I'm okay with it. I mean, no one's really going to want to say this, but it's the truth. A male athlete hitting his spouse is much worse than a female athlete hitting her spouse. And I'll tell you why. It might even be in perception. When you see Ray Rice, he's short for an NFL player, but he's cut, and you know he can do damage to somebody if he does something. I look at Hope Solo, and she could probably beat me up really bad. But I look at my wife, and I know she couldn't take me. And I look at most women I see every day, and I know they couldn't take me if they just all of a sudden decide to snap. So in my head, and I think in a lot of guys' heads, what she did wasn't that big a deal, which is why, okay, I'm going to keep cheering for her.
Is this a double standard we're comfortable
Yeah,
with?
it's a double standard. I think a lot of people are comfortable with it. I think when I heard the announcers from Fox Sports talking about it, they sounded like NFL announcers 5 years ago. They were like, it's off the field, and I don't think we should be paying attention to that. And they basically brushed it aside. Now, put that in the context of what's happened in other sports, and you really are just shoving it aside. That portion of it bothers me a little bit, only because, to your point, yes, I do think that people, and rightfully so in a certain sense of what we saw as violence, especially the Rice thing, the video of it. But she has gotten a pass in this. And I think because she is so good, she's playing for the U.S. team. So they are using that double standard, I think, because if she wasn't a great goalie, she would have all of a sudden been disciplined and been off the team.
No doubt. This is classic double standard. But, I mean, let's, like as Duffy just said, it is Hope Solo. It is a woman hitting her nephew, I believe.
Oh, by the way, 6'8", 300-pound nephew.
Yes, we're not talking about somebody, my size. We're talking about somebody, as Duffy just mentioned. And number 2, there's no video of this. Yeah. And number 3, if Ray Rice signed with the Ravens tomorrow, he'd run out of that tunnel. He's getting a standing ovation. Greg Hardy will get cheered when he makes a sack for the Cowboys. So basically, we're Ravens and Cowboy fans in a way. Yeah. If Hope Solo makes a big save, all right. Now listen, I'm not rooting for her. If we lose, I hope it's her fault.
Yeah.
I hope it's her fault that we lose.
Yeah.
I don't really love her nor respect her, but she's a heck of a player. But this is a classic case. Our whole society is built on double standards.
I will agree with that, but I will say this. Part of the difference, even between Hardy and Rice and every other thing, is they've actually sat out, pay or not pay. They were. And there was some form of an acknowledgement of what they did. I mean, Solo's, she's playing, she's on the team, and at least in the beginning, she played pretty well too. So it does get.
But if you stack up what Hardy, Rice, and McDonald did in relation to what Hope Solo did, Solo's here. The other 3 guys, I believe. Hardy's packing guns.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he's going into Kabul.
That being said,
right?
Hope Solo 3 times. You got the incident with Stevens with the DUI, allegedly. You got the incident where she beat the heck out of Jeremy Stevens, former football player, and now this thing with her nephew. 3.
Yes. And she said some stuff to cops. She's not the first person.
It's almost like to gauge the interest in these things in terms of what the public is feeling by the way you take calls. Now, Ray Rice is one of your hottest issues, and it went on for a week solid.
Absolutely.
Anybody call about Solo?
A handful. And it's probably about mix. Why isn't soccer doing anything? And what she did is no big deal. It's only been a handful of calls. Rice dominated our airways for a week. Ray Rice.
The great polarizer, LeBron James, when the original press box continues. NBA Finals series is on. Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. It's been compelling basketball, Michael. But why is it we have such a difficult time, it seems to me, universally embracing what LeBron James does?
I'm starting to believe that if we were in a Twitter, Facebook world when Jordan was great, we would have a tough time embracing Michael Jordan. I'm starting to think that nobody is going to like anybody. I've kind of gone back. I have really loved watching LeBron play. Yeah, I was mad at him like everybody else with the pretentious decision thing, but I got over that pretty quickly. Wasn't a fan of the Heat, but I am a fan of this guy as a player. And I'm just of the belief now that we cannot embrace anyone fully. As soon as they're good, we're ready to knock them back down again. And I think if Jordan was in this era, he would have been big, big, big. He wasn't really being compared to anybody. Who was he being compared to? Wilt Chamberlain? Like there was no player like him.
He was Magic.
Bird and Magic,
yes.
But in that way, but
yeah.
I think we'd be killing him too. People are never, I don't think we're going to 100% embrace anybody anymore in sports.
It's an attack on your generation. Is this a generational perception, do you think?
No, I think the difference is, let's break down the Bulls championship teams as a thing. You know, Jordan wasn't the only Bull. He's the greatest Bull, but he wasn't. Like, there was someone for everybody. If you wanted a blue-collar, hard-working guy, if you were that kind of fan, you had Scottie Pippen, you had Horace Grant, you had Dennis Rodman to cheer for. If you cheered for one of those people, well, you were cheering for Jordan the same way. They're on the same team. There's nobody to play with LeBron. Dwayne Wade in the twilight of his career, and he and LeBron are the same person. Now he goes to Cleveland. Once again, he eclipses everybody. So you either have to be a LeBron fan first or not a LeBron fan at all. And let's face it, there's a whole bunch of other teams in the NBA. You're naturally going to not like this guy. I'm a Celtics fan. I've never liked LeBron James. I loved it when they smoked him in the playoffs all those years, Paul Pierce the way he did. So just numbers-wise.
But people look for reasons not to like
Well, he's a self-proclaimed king. They didn't like him then. Then he breaks up with Cleveland on national TV, then goes not one, not two, not three. Then he choreographs his whole move. So, yeah, but I blame our generation, me, Mike, and Billy. All the people who are Jordan lovers like myself. Duffy's generation, they didn't see Jordan play.
Right.
They don't call him. I don't hear young people call my show going, he's not. It's we always protect our generation.
Yeah.
But but that's why. It's older guys, crusty guys like us who will not admit that LeBron James is in the same neighborhood or same zip code as Michael Jordan.
But we forget that we were killing Michael Jordan in the beginning because he couldn't win the big series, couldn't get past the Pistons, too selfish, shot the ball too much, tried to coach the team on the field, on the court, got rid of Doug Collins. All those things went against Jordan. But you mentioned the Celtics. He might have had the best quarter any NBA player has ever had when he beat the Celtics in that series.
Yes.
He is putting on performances now that Jordan cannot touch.
He's going to average 40 points in this series.
All-around player that he cannot touch.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing, though. As much as I despise LeBron James and I hate him for everything he is, I've never respected a basketball player more. I've never stopped to watch a basketball player like I do LeBron James.
Yeah, but hate him for everything he is.
Yes.
What is he that is so negative?
He's the model athlete. He has
Yo, you're right.
No off the field issues.
right.
You
None.
didn't, you didn't mean that as you said it.
I guess not. I guess what I'm trying to say is the fact that I cheered against him makes me not like him. Again, what happened with the decision, the way it's almost like in my head, he's more preoccupied with how he's perceived off the court than he is on. That being said, he is the best player in the NBA at 4 positions. The guy can play 4 positions. He's doing things right now that Jordan never can. If you watch these last 3 games and you tell me he's not in the same neighborhood as Jordan, if not better, you have never watched basketball in your life.
And now the national narrative I'm hearing, now they're trying to diminish Golden State. So it'll diminish how great LeBron is. Well, Golden State, if you compare him to the 86 Celtics, well, geez, let's compare him to the greatest team of all.
Right.
Let's compare, it's like comparing, this Patriots team to the 85 Bears team.
Right.
Let's look at the greatest, of course they're not going to compare.
Let's get to this point, too. He's better than Bird. He's better than Magic. He's the best all-around player we've ever had in the NBA.
Absolutely.
Jordan is special. Jordan is special as a scorer, as a winner, all those things. But doing everything, there's no one as an all-around player.
I agree with that.
That is with LeBron James.
Like it or not, when we return. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. Time for Like It or Not, John. Like it or not, NHL playoff beards have kind of come under fire by NBC TV.
Hockey and baseball are they're very, very similar. They embrace tradition. I love the playoff beard. If you're telling me guys are going to shave, it's going to help them be more marketable, I think that's NBC's way of saying, we give up. We don't know what else to do to help with this niche sport, right? Unless Gretzky comes along, I love the NHL. It's not going to garner what the NBA is garnering right now. I thought, to me, listen, let them grow the beards. I don't know, the NFL's most popular sport and they wear helmets, okay? They wear helmets. So shaving beards, unless they got to deal with, I don't know, Schick or whatever the blades are. Is that even a company, Schick?
We'll go with it.
We'll go with it, whatever. Then maybe they'll do an endorsement, but to me, I think it's crazy. I thought it was crazy.
Does the guy have a point to make?
No.
None.
No, grow their playoff beards. That's part of the and look, hockey it's where it is. People say to me like, well, why does NBC not show all the games they put in the finals? Because they don't want to give up 7 nights of prime time. You're not comparing it to what the numbers would have been on the network as opposed to what they are on their cable network. You're comparing it to the other programming they run on NBC. We can roll our eyes,
Look,
hockey fans,
I'd like
and
to
say
know what
this.
hockey ratings were when they didn't wear helmets and they had mullets and you could see their faces. Who was watching then?
No, my point is they are not sitting there saying, yes, the numbers would be higher from NBC Sportsnet to what they are on NBC. I get that. NBC is going to, but they're putting on the Howard Stern show, America's Got Talent. Well, destroys what NHL would do.
But
so they're not going to give you 7 nights of prime time.
Instead of Game 3 the other night, which was one of the greatest hockey games I've ever seen, Rochester owned Ryan Callahan with a million-mile-an-hour slap shot, they aired American Ninja Warrior on 10, or on NBC, and they aired the hockey game on SN.
Yeah.
That tells me they're out of touch. And the next day we get this comment about shave the beards so they're more marketable.
Out of touch? That American Ninja thing probably did 4 times the ratings of what the game did.
The fact that you did this with your hand makes me think it didn't.
It's dismissive. Well, it has to because those games are doing like 1s and 2s.
Your playoff beard's coming in pretty well. What's the end game for you?
Every day for me, Bill, is the playoffs. So it just keeps going.
Hey, Duffy, like it or not, Ben Bishop's situation.
The goalie for the Lightning.
Yeah.
He's hurt. He's obviously hurt. And it's not so much... It's weird for me because everyone is hurt playing in the Stanley Cup Finals right now, right? You've played 1 billion games. Everyone's bones have turned to dust. But you watch his kids play, something is very wrong structurally with either his knee or his groin. And I'm listening to an interview he does the other day. I think this kid legitimately doesn't know what's wrong with him. I think that the team is legitimately keeping from him what's wrong. Because a reporter asks him, because they're not saying anything. They're not saying a word. They ask him, are you worried you're going to do structural damage that will, affect your career further? Yeah. He goes, well, I haven't thought about it. To be honest with you, I don't know what's wrong with me. And he sounded sincere, and there's no reason to lie about it.
Yeah.
So I think they're just putting the pads on him and throwing him out.
Maybe.
But it's like the NFL takes it so seriously. I mean, the injury reports are serious business. At the NHL, just,
Well, you know why that is.
Well, it's 'cause it's the NHL.
No, but the NFL cares about the gambling portion of it.
Yeah, but
that is the
shouldn't-
biggest.
Somebody's betting on hockey games, right? Don't they have to protect those
Half
people?
goal lines? What are you?
Hold on.
nuts?
Yeah.
Nobody is.
Well, they started.
All right, maybe that's the
They
answer.
started doing injury reports on American Ninja Warrior, which is why they were airing it on NBC the other night.
Bets on America did too. Like it or not, Michael, American Pharoah, any lasting?
No, none. I watched it. I was out to dinner with my daughter. I watched him win. It was nice. People cheered, and then it was over. I know I'm breaking the sportscaster code here, whatever. I don't care about horse racing. I didn't care before the race. I don't care after the race. It's just me. It's never been I have a lot of sports I have to pay attention to. I have to appease Duffy and guys like him, no matter what it is.
With the
But-
ninja thing.
Ninja stuff. But I don't care. I'm glad it was a Triple Crown. That's nice. You clap, and then people go back to not caring anymore. Maybe this is not 1962 or 1958 when it was boxing and horse racing. I'm sorry, I just don't care.
Calls, John? Anybody care?
0. Only on the creepy jockey, Espinoza. If you read his bio, and now there's stories about underage. The guy is a creepball, but he's bigger than Bob Baffert right now, and he's a bigger story than American Pharoah is the creepy jockey.
Funny how things change. You go back to the 40s, I think the reference was it was baseball, boxing, and horse racing
Right.
were the big three.
Yeah.
And how things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see it and I go, but even the way it's kind of manipulated and you don't follow all the horses through because one's in this race and not in this race. And so they got a Triple Crown.
It was a riveting moment. I mean, I was glued to it. But you're right. As soon as it was over, it was over.
Yeah.
Move on to the next thing. Unfinished business when we return.
And you don't need to be Native American to realize it is offensive. And it's not politically correct. It's the right thing to do.
He was an idiot for throwing him that pitch. The guy's phenomenal. He had no reason to give him anything, especially a fastball to hit.
It's simply that these two guys, Ronaldo and Tom Brady, are too good looking.
I like it, just don't admit to it.
Everybody wants to hate on the best in the world. You know, he's here to stay, and he wants to build something big time.
The bottom line is, still nobody's going to like A-Rod.
Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box Unfinished Business. John.
Listen, I'm the last person who wants to see the Rochester Americans play any games in Buffalo. However, I'm on the side of Terry and Kim Pegula and the Sabres. In fact, they're holding all the cards. They got all the leverage. And the mayor and the city better come to their senses quickly. There's 1 year to go on the lease with SMG. The Sabres want control of the building. The city knows it. SMG knows it. And if I'm Terry Pegula, I am going to play hardball with the city. It's about time that Pegula runs the building, gets a better lease deal, and in fact, it would be a better house for the Nighthawks and whoever may play there, if it's the Lancers or the Racer Sharks. Buffalo doesn't need the Blue Cross Arena. However, the city needs the Sabres and Amerks. Terry and Kim Pegula knows it. I just only hope the mayor knows it. Remember this, if the Sabres, if it comes down, push comes to shove, I would not hold a grudge whatsoever if Pegula lists the Amerks for 1 year, lets him play in Buffalo until he can finally get his own building.
They used to have a team there, you know.
They had a team there.
And it worked.
1 year to go on the lease deal. It's the same thing in Buffalo where the county runs the First Niagara Center and the Sabres run the building. They're their only tenant. So the city better wise up. You better come to an agreement. You better bend over, so to speak, for your big tenant and kiss SMG to the curb.
Yeah, and John's 100% right in this. And the thing is, it doesn't work long-term for the Sabres to keep them in Buffalo, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But they can certainly do it short-term. He can do it. He can manipulate it.
Absolutely.
He can wait them out. And I do think, and I also think that people in War Memorial is not the worst building in the world.
It's bordering on dump. It's a
really-
20th century building.
It was such a mistake
In
when it was done.
2015.
For the couple of years when they could have just redone
Mike
the whole
Brady
place
could have done a better job
of designing.
a new building. Hire Mike Brady.
That's the Brady Bunch. It's an old TV
Oh, I
show
remember
that
the
we
movie.
used to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duff, what do you got?
It's a great time to be a Bills fan in Western New York. So good, in fact, that before tickets went on sale to the general public, first 3 games, they're gone. How about so exciting that I have Bill season tickets? I should be able to buy these single game tickets early. I didn't get to the first 3 games because the first wave of Bill season ticket holders bought them out before I could get to them. But there are, as always, people who are going to complain, right? And the only complaint that I'm hearing from Bills fans are about the new talent that we have in town running their mouths the way they are. Rex Ryan, the head coach, he shouldn't say the things he's saying, having not done anything in the last couple of years. And LaShawn McCoy shouldn't be running his mouth about race relations and ex-head coach and making headlines that way. There's something that we've forgotten about here in Western New York when it comes to football. When you have legitimate superstars on your team, legitimate superstars are going to do and say things that are going to end up on ESPN and in Sports Illustrated. We haven't had to deal with that in 25 years, we hung our hat because the team wasn't very good on the fact that we had guys that, stand-up dudes that we wouldn't want our daughters taking home and having dinner. How easy we forget 25 years ago when we were going to Super Bowls that publicly Thurman Thomas, the league's MVP, was arguing in the paper with his offensive coordinator, Ted Marchibroda. That Andre Reed, on the way home from games where he thought he didn't get enough targets, was calling in radio shows so fans on the way home could hear his problems. We didn't have a problem with it then because we were winning. So relax. Everything's going to be fine. When we start winning, it's not a problem anymore.
By the way, the one thing we were talking about the NBA, I remember being at the press conferences for the Super Bowl when Thurman was arguing that he was the Michael Jordan of the team, not Jim Kelly. That was the difference and who was the great team. Speaking of the NBA, I got to tell you this. I live here. I've worked here for all these years, and I know this is a hockey area and college basketball because of Syracuse. Great success, great histories with both, and I get why everybody loves this. I'm an NBA guy from way back. I grew up near Philly. I love the game. I've always loved the NBA. It's going through good times and bad times, but right now is a great time for the NBA. And I know sometimes I hear from people, they say, why do they do this? We talk about television. We talk about everything else. The NBA nationally crushes the NHL. We know that. The NBA right now is a much, much better product than college basketball. It is in its heyday. LeBron James is polarizing and everything. He's ratings gold. The Golden State Warriors are thrilling to watch, and the NBA is crushing it right now. They're the number 2 sport behind the NFL right now, and they've earned it. They've come back from some bad years to some really good ones and proved the league can go on even without Michael Jordan.
Yeah, as these people that continually run down LeBron James, I said, man, check yourselves because it's going to end someday and you're going to have missed it. You're really going to be sorry.
Yep.
And that is our program. Thank you very much, John. Good job as always.
Billy, great job today.
Michael?
Great show.
Thank you.
Duffy, thanks once again for joining us.
I miss you guys so
Bringing
much.
passion. All right, we'll have you back again sometime before the end of the year. How's that sound?
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the original Rochester Press Box.